or at least one last hurrah at this mode before they start, running something that's maybe 30 minutes or an hour faster. Looks like we're getting going now. Both players going with the Sank start, grabbing 10 arrows right away, so not the best first pickup, but we'll see. We'll see where they go from here.
I wouldn't be surprised to see one go Houlihan and one go to Kakariko.
Looks like you're right. Karma's going to be making the Houlihan play, getting those guaranteed rupees. And on the other side of things, we'll be checking out Lumberjack most likely, getting in a kill to go for the tree pull, and then hoping to get some bombs or at least some rupees along the way.
With Keysanity, all of the keys, maps, and compasses in the dungeons are shuffled into all of your other item pools. So it kind of makes the Houlihan a bit more worthwhile because rupees be a little bit more sparse.
Yeah, both your chances of getting rupees or bombs are reduced going to Kakariko. So I think that makes this kind of Houlihan start more popular, as you're saying, as well as maybe starting Link's house and checking the uncle first, just to try to increase your chances of getting those rupees or bombs. So we saw Lumberjack was just a map, so they will not be doing Ega for that reason this seed. And Karma grabs 300 rupees in Link's house, which kind of defeats the point of Houlihan, but it does mean that he'll have, a good money set up for Zora eventually.
Yeah, he has Zora money, but he doesn't have that with bottle vendor money.
And we're seeing a cool sort of route to go off of Houlihan here, going down towards Lake Hylia to grab some bombs, and then heading over to Eastern. It doesn't opt to check Lake Hylia Island, which maybe just slipped his mind, or could say, well, what's the point in checking things? It's always small keys. I'll just go when I actually have access.
I like the Eastern play, but then again, I'm kind of biased because that's my play as well.
Yeah, it can work out. Myself, I don't usually do this. I like going to Kakariko. I tried this once, and when I did that, Flute and Boots were in Kakariko. I was just like, oh my gosh. Why? Why?
Yeah, that kind of hurts.
But it pays off pretty well this time, grabbing a sword in Sahasrala's closet, as well as a little bit more money, so that sword will be pretty handy. That'll make the South Shore pass a lot easier, and open up the option of doing escape quite quickly. And we see TruzzL grabs the mirror and the hammer and the well. That's pretty good, but didn't have bombs going in. It doesn't even have enough money to buy bombs, so that one location in the bombable wall will be weighing on his mind, surely. Gonna try the Blind's Hut now as well. So hopefully bombs or some money will show up here, otherwise this Kakariko is going to be a little painful.
Now, Karma did find out that Ice Palace is the green pendant.
And we've got map of Eastern Blind's Hut, so we'll get a little bit more information when we decide to get a map check, but nothing else useful. And, oh man, no bombs, not enough money to buy them still. So we're basically hoping on TruzzL's end that we get something useful behind the bar. Otherwise, I don't even know what you would do from here. Maybe walk down to the Grove and farm the bombs from there.
And Karma found the key to the back of Hyrule Castle, so when he gets a lamp, he has access to the back half of it.
That's always an interesting route. Oh, nice. Bombs in the bar. So at the last moment getting bailed out, we'll be able to go back and check all of the bomb pool spots. Now, hopefully for TruzzL's sake, there's some rupees in here, so Bottle Vendor could get cleaned up as well, but only 3 locations left, so odds are getting worse and worse.
And there's a useless map.
Yep, GT. Wow.
And he still doesn't have enough bombs to full clear Kakariko. He's probably going to check... Oh, there he is. He's going to farm some bombs in this hut.
Yeah, this is a good decision. I have to say that Karma probably has the advantage from these openers, just because when he does make his way to Kakariko, he'll be able to clean us up much faster, already having bombs, and there hasn't been any kind of movement increase that TruzzL's been able to pick up here, so it's not like he's missing Boots or Flute or something like that that would make this trip to Eastern more efficient.
Yeah, not even that mirror would really make it more efficient right now.
That's true. Okay, so we will see what's behind these bombable walls. If it was okay to skip them, or, you know, if they were required, but you have to get them anyways, just so you have peace of mind. Can't be thinking about locations back in Kakariko. Karma's going through these dark rooms now. We'll be getting that one last chest in Eastern blue mail in the back of the well. That's really nice to have early on when you have very few hearts.
Yeah, hopefully we don't have another hour-long 6-heart seed on our hands.
Oh goodness. Karma's pretty low. Oh, and gets clipped by the anti-fairy, so managed to get the key in the dark room, but does not make it all the way over to the vanilla big key chest in Eastern. It's gonna save and quit. That thing's out of the logic anyways, because you need the lantern for the randomizer to consider you have access to it. So we'll just leave it for now and probably come back later when revisiting Eastern. That would really hurt if the bow or the Eastern big key is there, but that's pretty unlikely, so good enough idea to just give up on it for the time being.
Yeah, wherever you found there, if it led to progression elsewhere, it would keep you farther away from that lamp that the game expects you to have right now. Or before you get that chest anyway.
Yep, so now Karma is going to be making the same kind of path through that TruzzL already did, heading into Kakariko. As TruzzL finishes it up, does a little bit of farming there in Blind's Hut to get the bottle vendor item, so we'll see what the last item in Kakariko is, and then we'll be able to continue on down. And it's a map. 2 Skull Woods, so maybe a little useful, but not the best item.
Information helps, but right now they don't have the means to actually clear anything.
Yeah.
Or the keys.
Have we even seen a single... Oh, we saw the Hyrule Castle key in Eastern. I think that's the only key we've actually seen so far. I missed what was on the library shelf just now.
A small key.
Okay, well, there we go. It's probably Meyer. It's just there to sit in your mind, and then you eventually get the boots and you go check it, and it's like, oh, great. A key that does nothing.
Oh, and there's a big 20 at the race game.
Yeah, so saving a little bit of time going with that check and turn around, rather than going in blind. And we'll now get a check down to South Shore. Lots of items down here. Having the hammer is a good infinite attack, but not the best against the mini boulder cave, so I'm expecting we'll see bombs used there.
Yeah, the range on the hammer is not the best.
Yeah, especially if you have to attack up or down, it's just terrible. Using the mirror to delete that block in the dam, saving a screen transition, so that's pretty good. Now the items we've got so far haven't opened all that much up. You know, the hammer is great. It'll open a lot if you can get the glove and the pearl. The lamp's great if you get a glove and a lamp. You can do stuff on Death Mountain with it, but so far we're still living in Sphere Zero, waiting to see what is actually going to take us further into the game.
With the hammer and the mirror, if we get a glove, I wouldn't be surprised to see Dark Room up to Death Mountain and sequence break and clear all of Light World Death Mountain.
Yeah, certainly with a sword, it's not very hard to do that Dark Room. And even without a sword, I'm sure these guys could manage it. And, you know, if the lamp is in some terrible one-off location like Agnes Cave or something like that, then it's a lot faster to go up Death Mountain and maybe eventually get that lamp with the flute. Oh no, Mini Moldarm Cave, that hammer proving to really not be the best weapon for that, so TruzzL takes a death in there. We'll probably head right back there. It's too many items to pass up, I would have to imagine. It's not that bad of a death either, because it's only a couple screens away, so...
Yeah, no, in Ice Palace we do a lot of penguin bowling. Well, the Lambos got their chance this time.
Yeah.
Or the Moldorms.
They're probably related. They're both worms, so...
Good point.
There is that. So round 2, I'm going to use bombs this time. not the highest health going in here, but the first guy, that middle one is really the biggest problem here when you go in with bombs. Decides to camp you at the door. It can be really troubling, but they arrange themselves pretty well. 3 bombs as fast as you can do it, so that's good there. And we'll see what Mini Molder Cave has. A lot of love so far. Grab a small key to Turtle Rock and some money, so that's not the answer. There's progression somewhere else. We're running low on spots.
Yeah, early game the health is kind of nice, especially if you're hoping to get Dark World access, and we already have 1/3 of the puzzle to get there. Also, blue mail makes those crabs not as dangerous.
Yeah, those crabs are terrifying, but as you say, blue mail knocks down the threat level a fair bit. I think we might be down to just Ice Rod Cave and Agina's Cave right now, so I'm guessing we're gonna see something here on the right.
Yeah, Zora is not in the logic yet because there's no flippers or power glove to get to him.
Oh, and of course, thanks for Numberplay pointing it out. Nobody's done the escape yet, so that's that's actually far more likely to be where the progression is.
Yeah, Agina's or escape, and that's all the logic has for progression.
Alright, so first we're gonna trade, and TruzzL's gonna head over to Eastern. Karma's gonna do all of the South Shore stuff, so it'll be a little while until we have our answer as to where to go. It'll also be interesting to see if TruzzL's able to get all the way to the vanilla big key chest in Eastern. Because if that's something significant, if you know the lamp is the progression and then the next progression is right there, that's gonna be a big deal.
Yeah, and if they're comfortable enough doing dark rooms, lamp is optional. Well, lamp is optional so far as you still need some kind of fire source.
Yeah, that's for sure. I'm sure these guys are, you know, pretty well versed in dark rooms, probably won't have too much trouble with it, but everybody would always rather have full lamp, I think. It just makes it a lot easier, a lot less to worry about. Especially a couple of the nasty ones, like the basement of Pod with the terrapins or whatever they're called, my goodness.
Yeah, the turtle room in Pod, that's a dark room that's rough. And it's one of the few outside of Aga Tower that I can't do.
Yeah, that's for sure. At least if you don't have the fire rod. The fire rod lets you light it up at least, but the lamp's always more preferable. So we're just hanging on until finish cleanup both sides. And then I think we will see Karma be first into the escape. I think he's come out with the lead on these early plays, but remains to be seen. And of course, that one chest in Eastern could matter a fair bit, but most likely it's something rather an escape. Maybe even the power glove leading to backup escape, or who knows what. It's certainly a moment that the runners could get taken on very different directions.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised to see Karma do the fake flipper to the bridge.
Yeah, you're right. You're calling it correctly. Walking back down to the fake flipper spot to do that. You're running low on, you know, places to check. Maybe check something out of the logic. The one kind of bad thing about this is without the Moon Pearl, the Waterfall Cave can't be checked. So this is just going to be Hobo and potentially Zora as well. There's enough money available for it, so I wouldn't be surprised to see that, but it can mean 2 trips up to Zora's domain, which is not the fastest thing, but it can definitely pay off. We'll get a look at the Hylia Island as well, which we didn't before, and that's going to be a map, so we won't see anybody going for that.
Seeing a lot of burritos.
That's for sure. Pretty tasty seed. to kick things off. So TruzzL heading through the dark room has a lot more health here, having done a little bit more of the overworld before coming here, so shouldn't really have any trouble with this. And we will see what this item is. This could be a really big deal if this is something of particular use. A Cane of Samaria for Karma at the Hobo, and is going to save and quit from there, not going to Zora. Meanwhile, oh, the small key to Swamp Palace. Now that doesn't mean anything right now, but that could matter a lot later. If Karma never gets back to Eastern, or doesn't get back to Eastern for a long time, that Swamp Key could make a big difference in their routing later on.
Yeah, and that red cane, that's another thing that later on that could matter, but right now, not a whole lot.
Yeah, and it's very likely TruzzL will find that. Of course, Karma will find that Swamp Key eventually, but we'll be waiting for a while on that. Not a big deal though, it's not like it was the boots or anything like that. So both players actually coming to the escape pretty much about the same time. They've checked about the same number of things, and it's looking quite even so far. Of course, the advantage Karma has is that Cane of Samarian, the advantage TruzzL has is that Swamp Small Key.
And something to note is that both of those items came from sequence breaks.
That's true. So we grabbed the Meyer Big Key, the secret passage there, and now we're on to our last 3 items in the logic. Well, okay. There's still that trip down to desert for 1, but hopefully there's something here. Nobody wants to make that walk.
I think they'll go dark room to the back of escape before they do that.
Yeah, I would definitely do the same thing in their shoes. So we've got a pretty nice sink here. I'm gonna grab a fire shield. Not so exciting, but not a bad item to have.
Well, it's nice to have it before Thieves Town is on the table.
Yeah. If blind goes off the rails a little bit, then blocking those shots is quite useful. And maybe if they have to do Mire Basement in the dark or something like that, it can come in handy a little bit. Okay, so there's the Power Glove. That opens up back of escape for 3 more items, and a walk up Death Mountain in the dark, which opens a whole lot of stuff. I would guess we see back of escape immediately after this, and that sequence break to Death Mountain seems like a good idea if the lamp hasn't shown up by then.
Yeah, because there's no Moon Pearl, so Village Outcast is not on the table right now.
Looks like both players content with the fact that they have the glove here, not going to set up a Death Warp. And there's the Moon Pearl as well, so... Okay, the escape takes you to the Dark World. Of course they're not going to set up a Death Warp, they have the mirror. So they're both checking the back. Much faster. Okay, well that opens up some options. We could get an early trip to Hype Cave, we could go straight to Village of Outcasts, or, just take this glove up Death Mountain, since you can get over to the east side already, with the mirror and the hammer. There's a lot of items available there, so we'll see what choices these guys make.
That's also Aga is dead, and they both have the Hyrule Castle key, so yeah, they can check the back right now.
That's true. I'm not sure what would be faster, to just continue through the dark. Probably, if the dark rooms go well, continuing through the dark to the end would make sense, but you could of course just opt to take save and quit to Sanctuary, which might be what TruzzL's doing right now, and then just walk in, from the graveyard area. I'm guessing with the switch to bombs, that's exactly what's going on.
Yeah, I didn't quite catch what he grabbed either.
I believe the dark room was just a full heart. We'll probably see it here shortly on Karma. Hopefully he does not get hit by another one of these snake rope things, because they've beaten him up a bit. Yeah, it does get a full heart there. and looks to be continuing. So we'll see. First, we got a bottle and not much else, but that's a nice thing to have on your trip to Village of Outcasts. You can just stop by Sick Kid and see what's up there.
Yeah, this looks like a route over to Village Outcast anyway. So, yeah, highly convenient bottle for Sick Kid.
Yep, so Karma making his way through these dark rooms. Got a couple to go yet, and then we'll have to deal with the key rat. Or maybe, wait, did he already get the key rat? He's got a key still.
Yeah, it looks like he already... Yeah, that was a bat kill. He's definitely already got the key rat.
Okay, so we should be... Yes, there's the light.
And TruzzL is not checking Sick Kid yet.
Well, okay, this actually makes sense. For some reason I was thinking he had to do it on his way to the Dark World, but having the mirror, I think it's less walking to do it while you're in the middle of Village of Outcasts. Those mirror transitions do take a while, but this might be a little bit faster to do it this way.
Yeah, it is less walking. Not used to seeing mirror 20 minutes in.
Yeah, that's for sure. It seems to hide quite a bit. So TruzzL's going to head up and check Skullwoods first, whereas Karma's making a different choice. I'm going to be doing Hype Cave, and then we'll see from there. Maybe a walk up to Pyramid, maybe a walk to the west to grab Stumpy and the Digging Game. Maybe just save and quit out of Hype Cave and then head to Village of Outcasts directly.
Now, what you're hearing on TruzzL with the dungeon music, the music is also shuffled in Keysanity to make sure you can't tell just by the music what is a dungeon, what is a pendant, and what is a crystal.
Okay, so the big key to pod shows up in Hype Cave, so that's nice to have, but with no small keys yet and no bow. That's not a... Okay, well I say no small keys, but there's one. The map of Swamp, so more information. A couple pod keys. And the big key to Swamp for TruzzL, so that's Swamp key is complete. Just needs flippers and the hookshot, and everything's open down there.
Yeah, the Swamp big key is one of those that's not required to finish the dungeon, but to be able to full clear it, that's peace of mind.
Yeah, it's really nice to have those one-off keys, the Swamp big key, the Ice big key, the Thieves Town small key before you go in. Oftentimes you have to go without it and then leave that one chest behind. And you're thinking about it for the rest of the game, but at least Swamp won't be doing that this time.
And speaking of Thieves Town, Karma finding out that Thieves and Tower of Hera are 5/6 crystals.
It's always nice when Thieves is actually a crystal. It seems to be a pendant more than it should.
TruzzL singing, "I'm in the money, I'm in the money."
He's rich. Look at that thing counting up there. Getting good use of the boomerang to stun a lot of this stuff, both the Gibdos back there and these jumpy, annoying things in the overworld.
And Karma's got a lamp.
There it is. It's always nice to have. I expect TruzzL will find that before too long. Likely doing a Village of Outcasts into South Dark World sweep ending at Hype Cave. And that will be a stop along the way. So there's no dark rooms that he's going to attempt to do in that time. So that's it's pretty nice. We don't have to stumble our way through Mire Basement or that darn turtle room in Pod.
Oh, but Mire Basement is fun.
Yeah. Yeah, for some people, probably, yeah. The runners, maybe not so much. Okay, so we've got a map in the dirt. Dusted off a little bit. It's Hera, but we already knew what Hera was, so that's not too great.
I think we have most of the maps now.
Yeah, once we get a map check, we may get potentially full knowledge of what's required everywhere. But generally runners will put it off until, a lot of people will say don't check the map until it actually would affect your routing. At this point they can't really do much in terms of completing dungeons, so there's not much point in looking. They'd just be looking at the dungeons for items rather than their prize. So it looks like Karma's walking in the direction of Pod. It could be Pyramid Catfish, or it could be just really play into Pod. There's only one key. There's not much you can do there, so we're going to be checking Catfish. Well, I'm not sure about Catfish, but at least Pyramid first. And then we'll see.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of a... oh, there's Bombos.
Okay, so one medallion down. The best medallion.
But I'm not a big fan of a one-key pod play, especially without the bow.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. I didn't see what the pyramid item was, but Karma's going to get it. It's bombs. Makes sense being down to 4. You really don't want to run out of those. But yeah, with all the Village of Outcasts, Thieves Town Skull stuff still open to Karma, this could just be being thorough. That's a thing you have to do a lot in Keysanity, is just clear everything out as fast as you can. So maybe hoping to find, something like the Thieves Town Big Key over here on Catfish, and that would save a fair chunk of time revisiting that dungeon later, potentially. Whereas it's not like you're going to find much on the left side of the map that's going to speed up your Catfish vids, aside from maybe the boots, but that's that. Also has the potential to mirror to Zora with enough money. That wasn't checked earlier, so... And Titan's Myth's showing up for TruzzL in Thieves Town. Semi-vanilla.
Fridge Vanilla Butterfingers.
So that's really good. Mirror and Titan's Myth in this part of the map, you can do the entire blacksmith quest really efficiently.
And has the shovel.
Oh yeah, this is going to be beautiful. This walk digging game back up to grab the smith, turn that in, hammer pigs. Lots of great overworld checks here, which is eventually going to end down in Hype Cave most likely. So Karma did Catfish and then saved and quit from there, so left Zora for the time being. Perhaps just to, combine with having flippers and get the Zora Ledge and Waterfall Fairy checks in as well. But is now going to be making the play over to Village of Outcasts, and we'll eventually find Titan's Myths in that area.
If you're over by Zora, I say you go ahead and do it.
Yeah, I wouldn't have minded, just mirroring, checking Zora, but Karma will put it off for now, so... And we will see Sick Kid. I don't remember if TruzzL mirrored for this, but it's just a piece of heart, so...
Yeah, he
just slipped the eyes. He did? Okay. So Karma's done more of the South Dark World, TruzzL's done more of the West. And we'll just be doing kind of these overworld checks for a little bit, hoping to find some more dungeon keys to point us in some direction, or, maybe Flipper's hookshot will take TruzzL into Swamp at least, but Karma missing that small key from Eastern would have to put that off for some time.
Yeah, Karma probably won't get that small key until he gets Bow and the Eastern Palace Big Key.
Yeah. Now, it would be a true tragedy if those were in Swamp, but hey, those swordsmiths actually doing their job properly for once, upgrading TruzzL's sword.
We can call that vanilla, that's close enough.
Yeah. I don't know how they learned to forge the legendary sword of the heroes, but I guess the base game doesn't make much sense that they can make one stronger than that, so, it is what it is.
The randomizer just made them worse at their job. And Karma playing it safe with this Gibdo.
Yep. Just hammering it away while it's still in the pod prison. TruzzL's grabbing the lamp now. Probably happy to see that. And a first fire source is always nice. It's nothing worse than having to visit Meyer and then revisit Meyer just to do the fire chests later. Of course, we're quite a ways away from that, but it's one thing not to think about.
Yeah, I don't see any flutes yet.
Although speaking of the flute, let's take a look at the flute spot. Get to mirror and dig. What have we got underground? The digging game had a map. Are we going to see another one, or maybe we've seen all of them? Bomb upgrade.
Yeah, the 1+10 capacity for bombs.
Yep. I always like to find a couple bomb upgrades in the early game. It's nice to go up to, 15 or so when it's your only weapon, but now it's kind of a nothing item. Just forget about it as soon as you see it.
Yeah, especially with Master Sword.
One thing that, I don't know, may or may not happen, with only 8 bombs, TruzzL might actually buy the full bomb refill from this bomb shop. Having 745 rupees, you then wouldn't have to worry about bombs for the rest of the game, but opts not to. 8 bombs is plenty when you're able to get plenty when you go to pod and whatnot, so... You don't want to run yourself out of money having not done so or entered pod yet.
Yeah, 745, that's not actually going to go that long when you have so much to still spend.
So TruzzL will grab the pod keys, the big one and the single small one from Hype Cave. Karma will clean up a Village of Outcasts, and then we'll see where we go from here. Lots of the Dark World overworld's clear now. Still a couple things left, like Graveyard Ledge, that nobody really would want to walk all the way over to just yet.
Hey, you know what else is still in the logic that no one's checked?
I know there is Agate Tower, but I don't know if that's what you're thinking of.
Death Mountain.
Good point. That's got, a thing or two on it. And with the Titans...
Oh, of Death Mountain.
Only thing we're missing out on is Hookshot Cave, but I wouldn't be surprised to see that maybe show up on Death Mountain. So purple chest, just a piece of heart. And we'll see where TruzzL goes from here. Could it be a play to swamp? Walking back to the right here? Or maybe this is just continuing on to Pyramid Catfish. Looks like going up means no swamp yet. Of course not, because no flippers. What am I saying?
So I was going to say.
That's always a good play, open swamp and then jump in the water and then leave. Not the best play, but sometimes you see it. This is why I'm sitting here talking and not playing in the race. My brain's not quite on, I think.
It's a Keysanity race. No one's brain is right on it.
Alright, so Death Mountain. Far better play than Swamp Palace. Let's see what we got.
I am kind of sad that we can't see a Swamp Palace troll, though.
Oh yeah? The progression in the first chest where you don't have the key or something like that?
Yeah, like a red cane in the first chest, where the small key is in Turtle Rock, and then the big key to Turtle Rock is in Swamp.
Oh, man. Horrifying stuff. And with the hookshot out of play too, how many times could we make them go back in?
Old Man with the Blue Goo, that's a nice safety there.
Yep, it's good to have. 3 bottles already as well, I believe. There was that one in the back of Escape, there was one in Thieves Town, and that one now, so pretty nice on the safety in that regard, but not too much health overall yet, and of course it would be nice for something like Powder to show up, I'm sure.
They're on 8 hearts, they'll be fine.
Yeah, for now. There's the bug net. I doubt that that's going to get taken. Not very useful. Grab this key on top of Spectacle Rock and then see what Hera and then East Death Mountain have to offer.
Yeah, we can get two locations up in Tower of Hera.
Yep. Hera's a dungeon you almost always double dip in Keysanity, but it doesn't really feel like a double dip because this first floor is so fast. and you're just mirroring off of the chest back to the front door if you can anyways. Just a little bit of love in the basement, and this other chest. Just a little bit of money.
A little bit of not a lot.
Yep. But we're getting to the exciting part with these 7 chests, Paradox Cave, a look at Floating Island, which we can actually get to, and Super Bunny Cave over here, as well as Spiral Cave, so lots of stuff. Highly likely to have something new.
And we'll see if we can get into Turtle Rock.
That's right. Looks like TruzzL is going to take the Turtle Rock portal here. We'll probably open it with Bombos, if it is Bombos, and then not go in because no cane.
Now, if it is Bombos, I wonder if Karma's going to make the dive.
It could happen. That could be a big, interesting divergence, but it's Quake, so we won't be seeing that unless Quake shows up shortly, but I don't think that there's much to check off of Death Mountain. So it might happen if, say, Quake's in Super Bunny Cave or something like that, but for now, Turtle Rock is just going to sit up there, being a little lonely.
And I didn't see what was on the island.
It was a small key, so we will see it get taken, most likely. TruzzL gonna walk down into Paradox Cave first, and then probably end on top of the mountain, and then do Super Bunny Cave from above or something like that, leaving the mirror portal up there.
Yeah, I'll probably do Spiral Cave last.
Yeah, maximize your chances of finding boots before you go there, I think, is the idea.
Yeah, walking there is not good.
It's always nice to have full health in this, you know, upper or lower room of Spiral Cave. Hey, there's Quake. So that's interesting. And Big Key to Hera, so this Death Mountain visit got extended. TruzzL will most likely go back to Hera, and Karma will have the option, once he's up there, of doing a little bit of play into Turtle Rock. Of course, being out of sequence since the cane was logically gated behind the flippers.
Yeah, TruzzL can go ahead and full clear Tower of Hera. Well, not quite full clear. He can't do the basement yet.
Right. You always hope that you never have to do that, but sometimes it happens. So now back to the Dark World for TruzzL. Probably going to check Super Bunny Cave, grab the small key, and then head over to Hera. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, Super Bunny Cave from the back is quite a bit faster.
So we got some bombs in there, and blue rupee. So Hera could lead TruzzL somewhere, but I'm really interested to see when Karma gets over there if the Turtle Rock play is going to happen and what it's going to yield. Without too many keys, looks like, well, Karma has 1, TruzzL has 2. So I guess maybe there was one over on Death Mountain that I did not see.
It takes 2 keys to get to Laser Bridge.
That's right. And that's a lot of items. Okay, so Hera, we'll get a couple new items up here, and we do know that Hera's a 5/6 crystal, so you definitely want to do it. Okay, so the small key to Turtle Rock was on Spectacle Rock. So Karma, knowing they have 2 keys, moving towards that. It seems like a pretty appealing play to me, honestly. Maybe, you know, come back over and do Hera first because you can full clear it, and then head back to Turtle Rock. Could be potentially something to do. We'll have to see. If the Fire Rod shows up in Hera, that even opens up more to Turtle Rock, so that'll be quite nice, but let's see what we got. It's red, but it's not a Fire Rod. TruzzL's gonna go for this bomb jump here. Having moved the pit up here, if the bomb jump misses, it would be only a 1 floor fall, but gets it no problem. And grabs a piece of heart for it. Off to fight Moldorm next.
Yeah, bomb jump, if you don't move the floor tiles first, you go down 2 floors. It's kind of a big time loss.
Yeah, not too pleasant. It's also not very easy without boots. I think you have to be just barely off of the pit for it to work, but with boots you can bonk and extend your range for the bomb jump to work a fair bit. So you'll see a lot of people opt to go for the bomb jump if they have boots, do it NMG style, where they have a bit more forgiving jump. If not, just skip it, or maybe do something like what TruzzL did, like reduce the stakes to only 1 floor. So TruzzL going for the Moldorm fight now. Didn't get a hit off just yet, but we'll be looking to do these master spins because that will kill Moldorm 3 hits without having to deal with the fast Moldorm and gets it pretty quickly there. The item is the boots, so that's pretty good.
Weren't we just talking about those?
Yeah, those would have been handy for that bomb jump just now, but hey, we'll take them when we can take them. I think that ends everything that TruzzL can do on Death Mountain, unless something like a Spike Cave using the potion is in the cards, but that's pretty scary, so going to dash over to the right here. Oh, right, you could bonk the first item in Hookshot Cave now.
Also, he hasn't done Spiral Cave.
Ah, good point. I like this route that TruzzL's taken on Death Mountain. This is very efficient.
Oh, he also didn't get that small key yet.
Oh yeah, man, really maximizing how that went through. That was pretty good. So it's gonna be setting up this bonk here. We'll see what this item is, which is in the logic. Full heart.
And Karma showing a little bit of frustration slash there.
Is TruzzL setting up a hover over to the other side of Hookshot Cave? Yes.
Whoa.
Here we go. Makes it across first try and is rewarded with a pod key. That's pretty good. We'll see how many more items gonna bonk over to this one.
Yeah, the rest of this is entirely bonkable, except for maybe that one.
Going for the hover again, falls on that. Looks like gonna go for it again. You can just bonk to here and then hover straight up. This is really impressive stuff. This is hard to do, and Karma may or may not be able to go for this. Just the pod key found so far, and a Mire key, so only the pod key of significance, but that can be quite significant to Keysanity.
Yeah, with 2 pod keys, and I'm going to assume they knows the hammer yump. That means the only location he'd be skipping would be Helmasaur King and possibly the Harmless Hellway.
Yeah, and showing the ability to hover as well even potentially opens the option to hover over to the bow-locked chests in the right side of pod, although that one is a bit more difficult than going through Hookshot Cave, but, potentially an option. That small key on the floating island was Castle Tower, which means with the lamp opens up another item in the logic in Aga Tower. Now we'll get to see Spectacle Rock, Spiral Cave, some S word.
A Boots Spiral Cave.
Alright, Karma sees the Quake Medallion on Turtle Rock, opting not to go in there just yet, which probably makes sense. There's other things to do on Death Mountain. I think if they're going to do it, you can do it last, I would say. So I'm going to grab this Aga Tower key first, and then maybe head to Hera. See where TruzzL goes next. With the boots, King's Tomb and Bonk Rocks are open, so that could be the play now.
Yeah, while that hover was impressive, it didn't unlock a whole lot, but that means he doesn't have to keep that sequence break in mind.
That's right. Okay, so right away into King's Tomb. And we're going to grab a small key to Desert. That's a good one to have. No access to Desert yet, but those 2 items on the right side now open.
Yeah, that's a potential troll that's no longer trolling.
Yep, so Bonk Rocks will be next. Karma will just be tracing through the things that TruzzL already did. Karma, of course, is not this far behind. Karma did a bit more in the Dark World Overworld, having been the Catfish. So it's hard to say exactly who's in the lead right now, but things will settle down. And another key to Turtle Rock, already at 3. If they had the rods for it, that would be enough to finish the dungeon, but those have not shown themselves just yet.
Honestly, at that point, it'd be tempting to just go in and clear everything except Trinex and the right side fire rod.
Yeah, that's true. We also don't know if Trinex is even going to be required in this seed yet. TR could be a pendant, and in that case, you know, maybe opening the lava chest is a bit more appealing, but that's got to be the scariest chest to open in the game. TruzzL's going to clean up all of the boot stuff, grabbing a small key in the library, which is the 4th TR key, so that's all of them. We don't need to worry about that, you know, threat of leaving that one chest behind anymore, at least on TruzzL's end.
Now, Karma's taking the safe way and just dropping down to that big chest.
Yeah, I think in the long run that's not much slower than what TruzzL did, because not taking the risky bomb jump, where you risk falling 2 floors but are able to walk right out, did still have to fall down a floor and come back up, but that was probably a little bit quicker, but only a matter of seconds probably. So Karma coming up on Moldorm. Might opt for Master Spins, might opt for the hammer, having that equipped. 3 hammer hits does the same deal as 3 Master Spins, so Moldorm being a little evasive at the start and hiding over in the corner, where it's really intimidating to approach because that center pit is horrifying, but is now coming out a little bit, so Karma should be able to get some hits in soon. Oh no.
Yeah, that center pit will drop you down 2 floors.
Yep, so having to walk up and take another crack at it. Moldorm not playing quite so nice today. TruzzL tried to get a spin speed there, but didn't quite manage it, so we'll now be checking some of the things that Karma has already done, the pyramid, and oh, with the Agate Tower key and the Master Sword, a mirror up to Agate Tower is going to give us 2 new checks that we haven't seen. Karma takes another fall to Moldorm. Just really a darn worm. Not being very friendly.
Yeah, everyone finding out why we call him Trolldorm.
Nice hit. Quick hammer hit there. There's 2, and 1 more will finish him off. Good job. So over on the right side, Agate Tower gives a full heart, and we'll see the next chest shortly. Karma grabs the boots. And it'll be interesting to see what Karma does here. With, you know, a couple bonks available to check that one chest in Hookshot Cave. Might head over for that. Might say now's the time for T-Rock. We'll have to see. Well, this T-Rock play, well, could be a little painful because we know TruzzL found 2 more keys right away, and Karma will not find them in Turtle Rock, so won't be able to do anything other than pretty much make it to Laser Bridge. It's a lot of items still, but might end up being a needless double dip. We'll have to see.
Yeah, getting to Laser Bridge is still a lot of items, and not having those 2 keys. One of those keys doesn't really help because you can't kill Trinex anyway right now. So, you're only really skipping the vanilla big key chest.
Yeah, and I guess if you're going to go all the way to Laser Bridge with the intent of revisiting, it's likely that Karma will find that other key and just be able to do the vanilla big key chest smoothly on the next visit. So in the meantime, TruzzL is checking things that Karma did before, Catfish, but we might see a mirror over to Zora. No flippers to completely clean out the area, but lots of money, and while you're in the area, it seems like you might as well. And as I say that, TruzzL's not going to do that. He's going to stay in the Dark World, and this must be a trip down to Pod, I think.
If he can do the hover to get to the Bowlock side, that's a lot of items. That's,
yeah.
I think it's like 12?
I think you're right. Because, well... At least have to open the front door, and then opening the door to the back to get more chests, so... And no bow, so you can't kill Helmosaur. So yeah, 11 items it would be. Leaving behind Harmless Hellwave, Vanilla Big Key, and Helmosaur himself. But that 11 is a lot of items, so... Seems like a pretty good play. And even without the hover 9 items, that's pretty darn good.
Trump's just about any overworld location right now.
Yep. What other dungeons? Oh man, Kiki taken off as the Moblin or whatever the heck it is. Gets a hit on TruzzL, so have to go back and try that again. Karma dealing with this pokey. These are such a pain to deal with without either the fire rod or the tempered sword. We can kill them much faster. But gets through it, and now into the horrifying chain chomp.
Yeah, these things deal 3 harder damage no matter what armor you have.
Alright, gets the iframes, gets some bombs, and gets out of that room most importantly. So we get new stuff on both sides. There's the fire rod for TruzzL, first chest in pod. So that's a big deal.
Well, we know what Karma's not going to find in Turtle Rock.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's a really nice item to have too. If the flippers show up soon, TruzzL will get led over to the cane before long. Open up a lot of Turtle Rock having all those keys, and Skull Woods. Go kill Mothula now.
Yeah, he's definitely got a lot more he can do right now.
Alright, so Karma's got to do some combat with this next pokey. These little skulls chasing, and potentially a laser to worry about. I like that decision to close off the pegs there so that the pokey can't escape up to the north side of the room. Makes it maybe a little bit easier to chase it down. Grabs the key. He's not going to check the vanilla big key chest, of course, because that would be 1 item, whereas the laser bridge is 4. And we'll press on through Turtle Rock. TruzzL about to pick up a whole bunch of more stuff in pods, so let's take a look over there. Hard to start out with. And now for the basement.
Oh, and on TruzzL's side, we had a vanilla pod key.
Oh, nice. There's the flippers. So, well, Swamp's an option, but without a hook shot, I'm expecting that to get put off. Man, Karma is in some trouble. Pretty low on health. Using the fire shield to block shots from this center spitter thing. But has to deal with these pokies, and they're fast and they hit hard. So, gotta make sure not to take one more hit. Oh!
Oh man, that... Yeah, Turtle Rock on blue, it's still... Even though it's vanilla situation, it's still ugly.
Yeah, that's not pleasant. And we'll just opt to save and quit from there, not going to trek all the way back through Turtle Rock. So... that hurts a little bit, and that's also what happened, in a sense, with the Swamp Small Key, that vanilla big key chest in Eastern. So a couple deaths from Karma, leaving some items behind, but, you know, still has lots of stuff to do, so it's not so bad to say, okay, we'll leave Turtle Rock for later. Coming back with the Fire Rod is going to be a lot more appealing. And more keys, of course. Hang on. TruzzL has the bow. Was that in? That had to have been in here.
Yeah, that bow logic in pod.
Bow in pod big chest. Okay. Well, that's quite something. And with a key that, you know, key still in hand, that opens Helmaser up to be killed right now.
Looks like he's going to take it.
Not a bad call. I don't think we know what pod is in terms of being a crystal pendant, but even if it is just a pendant, that knowledge is quite useful. And odds are it's a crystal, so let's get it out of the way now. Karma gonna be checking the agate tower chests now. We'll see what he opts for from there as TruzzL treks down into the basement of pod. Thankfully, having the lamp, won't have to deal with the nightmare that is pod's dark basement.
And Karma, I don't mind the Castle Tower play, because I've seen some troll come out of here.
Yeah, that's for sure. It's 2 chests, it's not that slow to get, and it's never really going to speed up. You're not going to be able to lump this together with much, unless you think that you'll be able to do Pyramid Fairy at the same time, but no Thieves Town Big Key in sight, who knows if that will ever happen. TruzzL making short work of the basement. It's always nice to have your sword beams as you come down here because you can do those switch flips without having to menu for a ranged weapon. And that would be hammering away at Helmasaur King.
And the Castle Tower not paying out.
Yep. So saving quick from Karma, we'll see what the next play is. Starting at Link's house. As TruzzL beats up that boss, we'll be picking up the second dungeon completion. If this is a pendant, we'll know what they all are. The item is going to be the other cane, second best cane in the game, and there's the pendant, so that gives us dungeon knowledge, at least on the commentator's desk.
Yeah, it definitely helps out.
So TruzzL's got some options now with the flippers, with the fire rod. Skullwood seems like a pretty reasonable play, but some of Swamp open. No hookshot makes it a little unappealing, but we'll see what the play is going to be. Could just do the swimming sections as well, clean up the Zora area and whatnot. And that will yield the Key of Samaria from the Hobo, so it's going to be good. And hey, speaking of that big key of Thieves Town, there it is, over in Agnes Cave.
That's definitely good to find, because I think right now that is the only dungeon that's the only other dungeon our runners can complete right now.
Yeah, well, TruzzL has Skull, but Karma doesn't have that option yet, having not picked up the Fire Rod. So going directly to Thieves Town seems like a pretty good play. You know it's a crystal. It opens up the Pyramid Fairy. The only qualm I would have about it is the lack of the small key. It means you could have to revisit it, but that's relatively unlikely, so going for a crystal dungeon completion is a pretty solid play overall.
Yeah, no matter if you do Skull or Thieves, you can complete the dungeon, but there's going to be one chest you're going to be leaving behind in either one.
Yep. And as Number Play points out, the TT small key is required by logic to complete the dungeon. That's because you can steal the small key and never go to the attic and use it to open the big key chest instead. Now, nobody would ever make this play, I don't think, because the big key chest is one item versus 2 items in a dungeon completion, doing it the other way, but since it's possible, it's in there so that you don't softlock yourself. So we'll get to see what the Zora's Domain has for us as TruzzL's up there now. I don't think the Waterfall Fairy had anything too interesting, but we'll see Zora's Ledge and what we can buy for 500 rupees today.
Yeah, I think I just saw maps at the Waterfall Fairy.
Yep, an arrow upgrade on the ledge, so we'll take a pass on that. And as for Zora himself, a little bit of a cutscene, and then we'll get the information that we were waiting for. It's going to be bombs, so nothing there.
Most expensive bombs you will ever buy.
And TruzzL's running out of Zora's Domain rather than saving and quitting. So has some ideas to do something in this area, perhaps. Could be maybe heading to back to the portal and swimming over to Ice Palace. That could be something to do.
Yeah, with the bomb jump, he can clear it. I don't think you need any keys to do that.
That's correct. You just have to leave behind the big chest, but you can get that kill, and knowing it's the green pendant, there's an extra item in there. So this is pretty interesting. Gonna put that fire rod to use pretty early, and we'll see what ice yields. This could either be, the opportunity that Karma needs to catch up if there's nothing here, or just a big deal for TruzzL maybe finding the next progression hiding away in ice.
Yeah, the only crystal they can make progression in is swamp, and they can't clear it. So
yeah,
it
Swamp's
looks
really unappealing right now.
yeah, it looks like a possible double dip any way you go.
Yep. So TruzzL dealing with these Pengators. This is just really annoying without the hookshot or the Tempered Sword. I might have opted to just cast Bombos on them and call it a day, but gets them all down, gets to the chest, and we'll be carrying on with the dungeon. Karma's coming up on the blind fight now. Plenty of health. Master Sword for that extra reach should be no problem.
Yeah, Ice Palace without hookshot is bad. At least they have boots.
Yeah, one thing about coming in here with no keys and no hookshot is that to get to the right side chests, we're going to need to see a bomb jump. But it's not a very difficult bomb jump as long as you know how to set it up, so I think TruzzL is not going to have an issue, but some varied routes through Ice Palace here. So Karma doesn't get any useful items out of the blind fight, but gets that 5/6 crystal, which could lead over to Pyramid Fairy. Oh, TruzzL didn't kill the jellyfish thing with the key in this room. He's gonna have to walk back and take it out.
Oops. And Karma actually has both of the 5/6 crystals right now.
Yeah, that's right. I wouldn't expect Karma to make that play immediately. Probably wants to make some more efficient checks first, but it's definitely going to happen soon. Or, at some point. Gonna do Graveyard Ledge, get this out of the way. You don't want this location weighing on your mind, especially when you've already done King's Tomb and Bonk Rocks. There's nothing else that pulls you over here. TruzzL going for this bomb jump here. Trying to get the setup just right, and gets across. So we'll see what Graveyard Ledge is. Agnes Cave had that Thieves Town big key, so one of those annoying one-offs. We'll see what this one has. It's a small key, and it is to pod, so that's pretty handy.
And TruzzL with the NMG strats.
I really like that bomb strat in that room. To take out those Pengators when you don't have at least a sword strong enough like the Tempered Sword to kill them with that spin slide type thing. Looks really good. Alright, so still exploring ice. I guess this is probably going to be heading up and hopefully finding a couple more items here walking around. But I don't think there's been anything of note here just yet, so okay, Karma's gonna use the Pyramid Fairy Bomb right now, and we'll find out what we've got there. 2 items, so could be something good. Oh, and is this gonna be that... Oh, never mind. I thought this was gonna be that thing where you... Oh no.
Womp, womp, womp.
Yeah, there's some trick where you can jump off the edge and then leave the screen right at the right time and the bomb will follow you, but you can still dash or something weird like that. But that was actually just an accidental jump off the ledge into losing the bomb. But we've got plenty of money, so it's not a big deal to buy it again.
Yeah, you probably forgot that if you jump down a ledge with that it does not follow you, unlike the purple chest.
Darn bomb. Okay, so TruzzL is now heading up to the right side of ice. We'll be doing the bomb jump through this room, since there's no hookshot in play. I guess there's always the option of hovering this as well, but bomb jump's much easier, so... There's a cape in Pyramid Fairy and just 20 rupees. I don't remember if we've seen a check of Bumper Cave yet. So I'm not sure if that cape leads to anything or if it's just the safety.
I think it led to a burrito.
Yeah, sounds like you're right. So, just the safety. not the greatest thing to see. Karma's got a bit of a collection of pod keys, and we know there's that one vanilla one in there, so now making a play over to pod, and we'll find what we can find. Still waiting for something interesting to show up in ice. Is this going to be the chest? It is. The ice rod. Seems appropriate.
And that makes Turtle Rock a full clearable dungeon.
Yeah. TruzzL is going to have a really efficient time up there, having not visited Turtle Rock yet, going in with both rods and 4 keys. We will get every item out of there. The only possible motivation for putting it off, I think, would be to say, well, you know, maybe I want the hookshot to be able to do hookshot cave with it, or maybe I want to put it off until my very last dungeon so I can walk over to GT, but we're a long way away from that, so I wouldn't be surprised to see a play over to Turtle Rock fairly shortly.
And on Karma's end, with that cape, cape and half magic, that makes Spike Cave available.
Yeah, TruzzL could clear it out as well, having the Cane of Berna from, I don't remember exactly where, but has it, so that'll make the walk fairly easy.
And Karma's going to spend his key on the vanilla big key chest.
Yeah, we'll see what we'll wind up with here. Now, Karma doesn't know that this is a pendant, but we do, so actually opening the chests rather than fighting Helmasaur could be a nice time save. Gets a Mire key. That's a bit of a disappointment, I would say. Now, I guess the thing here is Karma's down to 0 keys. There was a vanilla key in one of these chests, and hopefully that will lead Karma over to the big key chest here in Pod, because that was the bow, and going to Pod and missing that would be a really big problem for Karma in this race.
And TruzzL got Ether, so we'll see if that comes into play.
Yeah, no flute, so we can't check what Mire is yet, but TruzzL won't be concerned about checking because that's the 3rd medallion, so we'll be able to open it no matter what, once the flute shows up.
No, you cannot clip into Mire area. That is a major glitch.
Well, hey, I mean, you could find out what the medallion is and then get disqualified. Doesn't quite seem worth it, but it's a play. So TruzzL's heading back to the Village of Outcasts area right now. Maybe cleaning up stuff like Graveyard Ledge, and then possibly doing Skull, but Skull being a pendant might be some reason to put it off. Maybe just doing a little bit of Move World, and then we'll see what the decision is after that.
Well, TruzzL does have an interesting play available. He's got 2 pendants.
That's true. And with the mirror, you know, doing Skull and then mirroring directly to the pedestal and pulling it, that could be pretty big. We have no idea what it is with no player having the book.
And Hookshot is a thing that could be on there.
You're right. Hookshot and Flute are the big items that we're looking for now. We're still short some keys, but in terms of items, those are very important. So save and quit off of Graveyard Ledge, so it looks like TruzzL is not gonna wrap this around to Skull Woods, but rather head back up to Death Mountain. I can't help but think this is going to be Turtle Rock time.
Karma's about to head down and check his Bowlock side.
Oh, Number Play bringing up a really good point in chat. The hookshot actually can't be on the pedestal because one of the pod keys was in a hookshot cave, which TruzzL hovered to. That's a pretty neat read on the logic there. You can still get the flute, maybe, but that's killing our pedestal dreams bit by bit. And there's the hook shot.
So, okay.
So man, TruzzL has some amazing options open right now. Full clear of Turtle Rock, full clear of Swamp Palace. Tons of items in both of those, and surely there's going to be some progression in at least one of the two. So one nice thing for Karma here is actually having spent that key on that middle chest. The vanilla big chest of the pod is not able to go kill Helmasaur, but unless the pedestal is something, we know that Helmasaur is not required.
Now, for TruzzL, I'm kind of surprised he's making the Turtle Rock play now, because with the hook shot, he can full clear Swamp.
Yeah, that's true. It could just be a case of his plan when he came up here was, I'll do Spike Cave and then I'll do Turtle Rock, and decided, well, just stick to the plan rather than adjusting on the fly. But I do like that idea, do Swamp, because there is still that faint hope that you could actually do Turtle Rock last. If Swamp leads you to your completion of other dungeons, you might be able to skip a climb up Death Mountain, but it doesn't seem too likely overall, so I don't mind that. Especially since TruzzL's eventually going to have to find that Deepstown big key hiding in Agnes Cave, and that could take quite a while with a lot of other things open.
And Chad is kind of speculating some head possibilities.
Fetch quests off the pedestal are always a fun time, aren't they?
Fetch quests into a GT big key.
At least when you get the item itself there, you know you need it. You read the pedestal and see a key, and it's like, well, maybe? It's the Harris small key, what does this tell me?
Yeah, that's at least say sand pours from this key. Then I know exactly what sand pours from this big key. Desert Palace big key, we know we need it.
That's true. More pod keys. And speak of the devil, it's the Harris small key hiding over in Turtle Rock.
That one's on you.
I'm really sorry, guys. I really wish that the Harris small key just hid in Ganon's tower and it wasn't required, because you don't want to think about that. You don't want to go to tile room and sit there for 40 seconds or whatever it is. But unfortunately, it's now on the table. I wouldn't blame TruzzL for not doing it with all of Swamp to check instead, but we'll have to see what the decision is after Turtle Rock is done.
Oh, and we still haven't seen the green pendant turned in.
That's true. TruzzL's still hanging on to that. Of course, it makes a lot of sense to put that off, because these full clears of dungeons are way more appealing. You might never have to walk over there.
We'll have to head over to Eastern some point when he gets that big key.
That's true. With any luck, he'll have the flute by then and not have to take the long path, but at least having the boots, it's not so bad. Karma's coming up onto the Mothula fight now. Half magic and the fire rod is pretty nice for this. I think tempered would be a bit more, preferable, but there's definitely worse setups to fight Mothula with. Alright, let's see what that chest is this time. It's an arrow upgrade. So, vanilla big key chest and Turtle Rock, not going to cause too many problems. Karma getting through this Mothula fight has a few hits onto the spikes, as kind of is normal for Mothula, but manages to take it out, and gets not much to show for it, just that pendant and a piece of heart. The pendant might matter, but it's not going to be leading Karma anywhere new just yet.
Yeah, the Mothula is definitely one of those trollier bosses.
Alright, so what's next for Karma? Starting off in Link's house. Trying to think of what could be available. Oh, of course. I think the flippers now. It's time for those to get used. The Zora check and whatnot.
Whoa!
That darn mimic. It's so rude. Just jumping over the railing at TruzzL there. I don't remember exactly what input you have to do to cause that to happen, but I've seen it happen to a couple other people before, and you just hope it doesn't happen when you're at low health. TruzzL's pretty close, but didn't get killed. A death in Mimic Cave is just horrible because that's the overworld, and that leaves your respawn point in a pretty sad place.
Yeah, that's actually the first time I've ever seen that one.
Yeah, it's pretty weird. We'll have to disqualify that Mimic for glitching. It's not TruzzL's fault, but the Mimic is out of this tournament.
Well, hold on. We jump over the rail in Pod. Wouldn't that just be a minor glitch?
Okay, maybe you're right. Yeah, it's not actually a wall. Okay, the Mimic's fine, I'm sorry. You can come back. It was a miscall from me.
Don't worry, number plate. Your bet's still safe for now.
TruzzL's got really low health in this part of Turtle Rock. Using the hook shot to prevent damage, we'll grab a couple hearts over on the side pit stop here. But I know there's at least one blue potion available, and maybe just something like using an invincibility item through Laser Bridge and then taking the save or something could be a play.
Yeah, they might mirror to Light World and take those fairies there in that cave.
That's true, that's not a bad idea at all. Can be one way to heal up. I think it's probably a little bit faster if you're, comfortable with the amount of health you would have after just dying to just take an intentional death in this area. We'll see. Maybe even opt to just, go to Trinex with this amount of health. If all goes well, Trinex won't get any hits off. Grabs the flute on Laser Bridge there, so that's big. That's going to be quite useful.
And that means TruzzL can full clear Mire.
Yeah, the options for TruzzL are just amazingly good at this point. Full clear Swamp, full clear Mire. When you can completely clear Crystal Dungeons, it's just well, I don't need to think too much just about which order I want to do them in.
Now, this will probably be a Hammer Trinex, so it's not exactly going to be fun.
Yeah, not the easiest fight. If the heads start to get away from you and there's a lot of ice on the floor, it can be pretty painful. But oh no! And the first ice rod and the second ice rod shot both miss. Eats a hit from the head, so pretty low health now. And the ice head is running wild. That was 2 hammer hits on the fire head. It's possible to get 3 a cycle, but only managed 2 and 2. So now the ice rod head, or the ice head rather, has gotten some laggy ice on the ground, and TruzzL cannot get hit again, but will get munched by the head. Fortunately, having the safety save at Laser Bridge is going to be able to get back to this fight pretty quickly. Should be okay the second time with a little bit more health.
Yeah, once you get ice on the ground, the fight becomes a lot more difficult.
Yeah, it's really quite rough. With a sword, if you still have tempered, dealing with the ice isn't so bad, but man, the hammer becomes incredibly difficult to use when you have that ice, making it difficult to set up your position on the right side. Alright, so take 2 on Trinex here from TruzzL. Gets that first hit with the ice rod, so this makes it far easier. Gets actually only 2 hits on the first cycle of hammering. The ice head is being pretty rude and will throw some ice on the ground right away, but the fire head is dead now. Unfortunately, already down to 4 hearts. I think can eat one more hit, but any more will be fatal, so see how TruzzL does. Of course, with half magic, you can kind of just spam the fire rod a little bit, since it does damage to the ice head, as much as a master slash at least. And that makes things a little bit easier. So opting for a mix of fire rod and master slashes, ice head's down, just has to deal with the main body now.
Yeah, hammer would do more damage, but it's a bit more unwieldy.
Ooh, gets munched by the ice head, and okay, Smartly is going to opt to burn an invincibility item here and just to try to finish Tranex off during the remaining magic, manages to do so. Definitely a good choice there. You really don't want to take another death that late in the fight. So we'll be able to grab the arrow upgrade here and the crystal, and then take your pick, Swamp or Mire. Both of them pretty good plays.
At this point, I think I'd like a Swamp play better because it gives you a chance to find that Desert Palace big key. And if you find that, then you can do the Mire Desert combo.
Yeah, that's true. So TruzzL will have a moment to think about it. First, he has to run over and activate the flute, and then we'll see what the choice is. Man, that anti-fairy really messed up Karma just now. Would not let him get over to the door. So 1 health for Karma. The bottom of Ice Palace here. No powder. Might have a blue potion, but you don't really want to use a blue potion if you can help it in a dungeon. 2 health now. Twice as safe.
Which is to say, not much.
Yeah.
And all rise for the Swag Duck National Anthem.
And with that, you can pick your rhyme. The goose is loose, the duck is unstuck. Whatever you want to say, TruzzL's heading over to Mire. Karma's got to do this bomb jump here. In this side room of Ice Palace, not having the hook shot, which was over in Spike Cave. Trying to get this set up. Oh, that fall. And the bomb explosion went off and finished Karma.
That was rude.
Yeah, that was pretty rough. Of course, you know, dying there is not the worst because you would have had to just mirror out anyways at that point without enough health to continue. TruzzL grabs the mushroom over in the Mire Shed, so that's a fetch quest. And actually kind of doubles up. Has the option of doing fake powder to get the magic powder fetch quest out of the way. Don't know if I would opt to do that at this time because it's a little bit slower, and when there's not much left to you in the logic, you might as well stay in the logic sometimes, but it would be an option. Either way, we're going to see some dungeons getting cleared first, I would have to guess.
Yeah, at this point you just stay in dungeons because you have multiple dungeons you can full clear. Go ahead and take it.
Yep. Oh, and this is big too. TruzzL is going to check Agina's cave right now, and that will be the Thieves Town big key. So the full clear dungeon list is increasing. I mean, at least aside from that big chest. Karma is making the play on Spike Cave, so that's going to be a hook shot. That will be quite good for him.
And Karma had enough health to not have to dip into his magic for that.
Yeah, that's always nice. Of course, having half magic means you generally have plenty, but you don't want to burn out all your magic and then have to go do Ice Palace. It's never pleasant.
Yeah, health refills. Magic, not so easily.
Yep. I think the fastest way to do it if you have a bottle and money is probably just go buy a potion from the witch. Unless you happen to be heading to, maybe the tree north of Kakariko where you can bonk for a full magic thingy. Or, walking by Super Bunny Cave, for example. There's a full one in there. But not the most convenient locations to farm magic in this game, certainly. So TruzzL now entering a full clearable dungeon makes perfect sense. Karma, meanwhile, heading back up to Turtle Rock now. Here's an issue. As Karma died on the right side of Ice Palace there just before finding the Ice Rod, which means the Trinex kill can't be done on this pass. This might just be a trip all the way down to Laser Bridge that will yield the flute, but will require a full revisit through Turtle Rock eventually to get the crystal later on. Big Key of Eastern showing up in Mire, so man, TruzzL is really just having, you know, the dungeon completion list grow and grow. It's like, okay, well I can do Swamp Mire. Now I could do Swamp Mire and Thieves Town. I could do Swamp Mire, Thieves Town, and Eastern, so maybe doesn't even have to do any more Overworld for the rest of the seed. We'll have to see.
Yeah, he's is he one key from Go mode right now?
I think we need Desert Big Key and, of course, the Ganon's Tower Big Key.
Right. I almost forgot that one.
Yes, it's easy to forget, but it's probably hiding in Ganon's Tower. That's right. When it doesn't show up for this long, you know, those 22 locations start to make you think.
Yeah, and if you find your last item besides that key for Go mode, you have to wonder, do you go ahead and full clear your dungeons, or do you Go mode and hope it's in the tower?
Yeah, that's always the decision. And when you're looking at a Go mode as far back as this, you know, with several dungeons left to clear, it's hard to choose because you can save a whole bunch of time if you just say, okay, it's in the tower, let's get it there. But you know, if for example, you didn't do all of Mire, say, and you had to eventually come back to Mire after clearing all of Ganon's Tower basement for nothing, well, that's pretty unpleasant. So I think you just get the convenient chests, and then you hope that you find the Ganon's Tower Big Key on the way. This is an interesting Mire route from TruzzL. I actually really like this. Falling through on the left side, going, you know, almost to the basement, hookshotting across, and then rather than falling down, just continuing on to the right side from there. That's really neat. I never thought about doing it that way.
And there's Bacon.
It's that Tempered Sword. So probably not much want for any more weaponry. Of course, silvers or butter would be nice, but... Oh, and that's a big key, Skullwoods. Not the most appealing big key, but it opens another one-off location.
And there's still the possibility of the ultimate troll of a Paradox Seed with the GT Big Key on a tablet.
Aha, yes. So what do you think is going to be next for TruzzL after Mire? Assuming you have the items that you have now, what play would you make next?
After Mire?
Yeah.
Either Eastern or Swamp. If you really don't want a full clear Swamp, you go Eastern first.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea because Eastern is pretty fast no matter how you do it. Whereas if you're going to go into Swamp, you know, later, you might be able to skip that left side. That's always a nice thing to be able to do, not sit through those couple animations. Now, I'll have to check when TruzzL menus again, but I think the Thieves Town small key actually showed up somewhere in here. So hopefully there will be, you know, a switch to the bow during this Vitreous fight. We can try to get a look at Dark World Dungeon 4 real quick. But we're going to use spins instead. We'll probably use the bow on the main eye. And if not that, we can at least get it on the mirror.
Yeah, without silvers, those small eyeballs take way too many arrow hits.
Yeah. Okay, I looked. I think he has the Thieves' Town small key, but it was a fast menu, so it's hard to say. Grabs red mail there off Vitreous. That's always nice to have. Okay, we've got one more chance. There's going to be a switch to the mirror coming up. I'm keeping my eyes peeled.
There wasn't a switch to the mirror yet.
Okay. Yes, okay. Yeah, he definitely has it. So.
And he hasn't been to Thieves yet, so.
Yeah, so that's appealing as well. Eastern, Thieves' Town, Swamp, you name it. Gonna take a look at Desert first. Having the small key means you can get a fair chunk of items in here. Has the boots for the tour. So, I mean, you're in the area, might as well. Makes a lot of sense.
Desert not paying out so far, just 2 more chests.
And we'll have to see what we find over here on the right side. Big key. That's going to be useful. Oh gosh, it's the Ice Palace big key. Well, I lied. I actually thought it was only down to Desert and Gannett's Tower at this point. But there was one more. Hey, Silvers!
Silvers are nice. So we have every big key but the ones we want.
Yeah. Man, I got all excited. I really thought there was only 2 left. But now the Ice Palace big key is just awful to see because there's the option of going back to Ice Palace. Of course, that's not going to happen for a long time because clearing dungeons that are crystals is way better.
And TruzzL is turning in that mushroom.
Yeah, I don't mind doing this now because it never really gets any faster to do. Grabs a small key from it. An ice small key, so not too useful. Could opt to pick up some potions, but says nah. It's fine, I don't need them. Got plenty of health, red mail, tempered sword, silvers. It's like, yeah, you won't need to drink a potion for the rest of this run, I don't think.
Honestly, like at this point being only 2 items from go mode, I think fake powder would have been the play there.
Yeah, it could have been. Or maybe at least hold on to that mushroom until you're done your dungeons, and then if you haven't found it at that point, fake powder and then turn it in. I wouldn't mind that. But fake powder does take some time. Like, even if you have the real powder, you don't have to run your magic out first. It's a little bit of a longer visit than just turning the mushroom, so I don't mind that either. So Karma's got the flute active now, and we'll be heading over to Meyer.
Yeah, and they're on half magic right now, so yeah, it'd take even longer to empty that out.
Yep. I'm not even sure what the best way to spam your magic out is like this. Is it throwing the fire rod, or is the lamp actually faster with how quickly you can use it?
I think it's fire rod as long as you're up against a wall.
Aha. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so Swamp has the big key to GT sitting there in the first chest, so that answers one of our 2 questions, the last one being, where is the big key to Desert? Very, very close to go mode for TruzzL now.
And there is only 1 big key left, so the moment we see a big key, we know what it is. And
Yeah, exactly.
Karma forgetting that he doesn't have that big key.
It goes over to the chest. Now, fortunately, you probably will never need to come back there because there's nothing useful in there. Couldn't possibly be. Maybe the gold sword, but I mean, we don't really care about that at this point. So we'll see what route TruzzL picks through Swamp here. being one item from Go mode, of course, it is a little bit more efficient, I believe, to do the left side first. But when you're only one item away, it might be tempting to go to Argus first to check the chests on the way, because they're, more chests faster immediately. And, you might never need to do the left side at all if you find the Desert Big Key along the way there, so we'll see what he opts to do.
But, even if you do that, you still grab your key from the left side and then flood it, so that way if you have to come back in, it's just a quick sweep.
Yeah, true, that's one option. This is why I wouldn't have minded. Okay, it looks like at least the key is going to get picked up. Maybe we'll check the left side chests immediately. The faster way to do it if you have to do all of it. This is why I wouldn't have minded, going and doing Eastern and Thievestown first, because they don't have this long check, off to the side. Like, the Go mode versus check all the chests in those dungeons is practically the same. So if it happens to be over there, then you could have known that you need to do this coming into Swamp. But, TruzzL still has a huge lead right now, and if it's here, then you do save yourself a little bit of time on checking some side stuff at Thievestown.
And the other thing about doing the Thievestown is he does have the big key to Skullwoods if he decides to go back to Skullwoods.
That's a good point. The big key to Skullwoods and the potential to finish it and pull the pedestal. Like, that's a bigger time investment than left Swamp. So you raise a very good point with that one. Oh, okay. So here, Meyer being Ether, Karma hasn't found that yet. I don't remember just where it was, but I know TruzzL picked it up before he ever came over here. So I can't remember what location it was though.
Oh no, I don't remember either.
Might have been deeper into ice since Karma didn't finish that off. Maybe, I don't know. Really don't know. That's Go mode for TruzzL. Left Swamp gives the big key to Desert. I don't believe there's anything left to find. Unless... No, TruzzL should know that it's Go mode pretty soon. Once he realizes. Probably once he finishes Swamp, he'll be like, oh, okay. It's time. Sometimes, we say Go mode and the player doesn't actually know because of their lack of Crystal Pendant knowledge, but he has the big keys and necessary small keys to finish every dungeon at this point, so might just be checking a couple quick chests for the hope of Butter Sword, which would speed things up a little bit.
Yeah, I know some runners actually try to avoid Butter Sword though, because it inherently lags the game just by existing.
Oh, that's interesting. I know there's something you can do with Ganon now. I'm not an NMG runner, so I'm a little behind on the strats, but I know you can one cycle his first phase by doing some spin bouncing off of his, weapon thing that he throws, or something like that, but Gold Sword makes it easy, but, obviously, if you can do that, then just staying on tempered is faster. Now, TruzzL either maybe didn't quite realize his Go mode yet, or says, these chests are fast and I do want the Butter Sword. No, okay, skipping that one, it's Go mode time. He's done checking. Just finish dungeons and finish the game now.
Yeah, even if he doesn't know what dungeons are required, he's got all the keys, he's got all the items, he can go.
I guess one other argument, since I'm not sure what he knows of the dungeons, it might actually be faster to find a map so that you can map check and figure out which dungeon you don't need to do. But the odds of that, not too great, so at this point just skipping chests and going for it.
Nice point-blank shot.
Yeah, that was well done. It's not the easiest thing to hit Argus with the bow. You have to time your shot quite well before he starts running away. So that's crystal number 5 for TruzzL there, which feels to me like a pretty early go mode for Keysanity. Normally you're clearing dungeons right up until the end, but we get actual complete full go mode for Eastern, Desert, and Thieves Town. Admittedly, not the, most expensive dungeons to not go mode, but still, it's nice. Of course, that's still assuming that TruzzL knows that Skull is a pendant, which now that I think of it, I think is known. I believe that was on a relatively early map, so we'll probably just see the crystals.
Yeah, I think he knows.
I mean, at this point, unfortunately for Karma, this race is pretty well decided. He has a lot of stuff to still get at TruzzL. Even if he went and did Skull Woods, it has a huge lead at the moment. Karma's got to get this Ice Rod, which he's close to now, so that'll be good. But, the Swamp Small Key still hanging out in Eastern there. Wherever the Eastern Big Key was, I don't remember its location now. That's still required. A revisit to Turtle Rock just to kill Trinex. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff. It's a rough position to be in.
Yeah, and TruzzL, the longest dungeon he's got is Thieves Town, I think.
Yeah, and that's a short dungeon. Like, these are some really, really nice, easy dungeons to finish off the game with. None of this Turtle Rock or Mire nonsense.
And that land mow.
Just vaporized it with the silvers. Really nice play from TruzzL overall. Oh, dodge to the duck there.
Duck's like, I ain't carrying you.
So we will get to see the Ice Palace Big Chest from Karma, which is just an arrow upgrade. There's not much useful it could have been at this point. Might have been a sword, I suppose, still, but wouldn't be surprised if the last sword's over in GT. It's gotta have at least something, right? Probably powder and book still haven't been found, but likely will not be found.
We're going to see Bombos over here from Karma to break out the Cold Stare.
Not a bad plan at all. With the Master Sword, I think you more want to stick to Fire Rod as your source of damage, so just going for maybe trying to spin them into the corner. Doesn't quite get them stacked up, but will now be throwing Fire Rod shots, because this does Gold Sword damage to these, so is a much faster way of dealing with Cold Stare than the Hammer or the Master Sword.
Fried cotton candy, anyone?
Well, that answers the question of where Ether was.
Oh, yeah, so Ice Palace was definitely required.
Yep. I guess Green Pendant was it. We never saw that get turned in. Karma might be tempted to do that now, having just cleared it, but Ether, well, it does open Mire, so probably gonna head to Mire instead. Being able to full clear that and whatnot.
Yeah, one of the keys to Keysanity, trying to minimize your amount of dips into dungeons.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see different people's approaches to it at different stages of the game. You can try to avoid dungeons and do all over the world, but oftentimes the seed will force you to double dip, and given that dungeons are far more dense item-wise, it can be good to just go in. You just really don't want to make multiple walks to pod if you can help it, or multiple trips up Death Mountain. I mean, you're always bound to do a few, but one less trip up Death Mountain saves you a lot of time. Yeah, number plate brings up a good point in chat as well. Go mode Thieves Town. We know we don't need to check the big chest, so you don't even need to go get the the key up by blind. Just take a turn immediately to the left and over to the hallway.
I'll be interested to see if TruzzL remembers that.
Yeah, sometimes muscle memory just makes you say, okay, this is how I do this room. We go up, then we go back down. We'll find out in a moment. TruzzL knows. There you go. Nice quick pass through that.
Now after Thieves Town, we'll see TruzzL go straight up to Ganon's Tower.
Yep. This is a pretty fast seed for Keysanity in general. Started out a little bit slow, but this late game from TruzzL has been really nice. Lots of dungeons to go mode. Lots of, being able to do dungeons and not worry about the overworld later on. It really mirror helps a lot with that, I think.
Yeah, this could still be a sub 2.
I think it will be. Barring any kind of catastrophes falling to Ganon or something like that, but I'm really not expecting to see that. TruzzL's been playing really well throughout this, and with Silvers and Tempered, there's really not much threat that Ganon poses at this point.
Karma's been playing really well too. It's just a couple of routing decisions and unfortunate death in the Dark Room in Eastern kind of hurt him.
Yeah, it was that, and it was the one in Ice Palace that just barely prevented him from getting the Ice Rod that caused trouble. And I think as well, in a way, the sequence break onto Hobo to get the Kina Samaria early really backfired because it caused him to do that early T-Rock dip, which at the time, to me made a lot of sense. Why not do it? You've got a couple items to check, but he didn't get anything out of it, and ended up dying in the dungeon, and then that was just another time sink. Now, I think winding the race back to that point, if Karma had not taken that death midway through Turtle Rock, he would have gotten a really early flute relative to how fast TruzzL found it. And that may have sped up the checks a little bit and actually helped out a lot. Or it may have, led him astray and over to Meyer before he had the big key potentially. I don't remember. Actually, no, they found the big key to Meyer really early, so could have ended up with an early Meyer in a completely different looking race, but unfortunately, pokies with just the Master Sword are just horrible to deal with.
Yeah, agreed. Those things are way too tanky on Master.
So TruzzL collects his last crystal and will be heading up to GT shortly. I don't expect a potion pit stop or anything like that because he passed it up earlier when he was already there, and has plenty of health and weaponry and whatnot. Normally at this part of a normal seed, we'd play the guessing game as to where the Ganon's Tower big key was, but it was in the first chest of Swamp, so no need to type your guesses in chat. But you could post a 0 or a Swamp 1 if you want. I'll still give you points for it. They just won't matter for anything.
Welcome to Keysanity, where the points don't matter and... Oh shoot, I messed it up.
The jokes are messed up and the points don't matter. There you go.
Yeah, that works.
So while we're watching Karma work his way through the end of Meyer and watching TruzzL make his way up to Ganon's Tower, I'd just like to take a moment to thank her excellent tracker number play for keeping us grounded throughout the seed, pointing out a few mistakes we made and showing all the items. It's a really good job done, and it's not easy to track, and did it spectacularly. And of course, thanks to everybody here for watching. Always appreciate the viewers. think we were a bit too last minute on this one to actually have the commentary command working, but nonetheless.
Hey, you know what? We got to see the race.
Yeah, that's what's important. Karma just poked Vitreous in the eye with some silvers, and see you later, Vitreous.
Vitreous the vampire. I mean, he dies to Silver. No, wait. Silver's a werewolf. Never mind.
Yeah, a silver bullet. You know, these mythical creatures, they can probably trade weaknesses back and forth. You could try using the mirror against Vitreous if he really is a vampire, but that just takes you to the start of the dungeon, so maybe he isn't, because that's not really a very effective way of dealing with it. TruzzL making short work of the early rooms. Ganon's tower here, heading up to the gauntlet. Now Karma has a path to follow. We actually will get to see what the green pendant is, because he has it on his trip back to Eastern here, and not being in go mode yet. Looks like we'll be taking a mirror here at Sahashala, and then probably going Eastern. And then since we're in the Dark World, maybe this means Pod is in the cards as well, but you know, having not finished that, and probably having a few chests left behind, it's kind of a Keysanity staple, because you can't get everything in Pod, so you have to wonder.
Yeah, he still needs that desert big key.
Yeah, that of course being over in Left Swamp. The good news here, okay, doing Pod first will, I mean, he'll be able to clear up the rest of this, get the Helmstorm kill, get the pendant. Maybe you know, with incomplete knowledge, doesn't know that this is a pendant versus a crystal yet. You could just be looking for items, I'm not sure. But with the, what is it? Yeah, visiting Eastern will give him that Swamp Small Key at last, once he gets in there.
Oh, and that fireball trolling TruzzL.
Yeah. Landmo 2 is a little more annoying than Landmo 1. You can't set up your shots as well since the fireball comes and beats you up. Now Karma found another bottle there. I think that's the last bottle we've seen overall. I don't know if TruzzL has, or Karma rather, has all of the other ones, but it takes him up to 3 at least. TruzzL just tearing up this gauntlet, gets the one cycle of those whiz ropes. We'll be up at the top of the tower soon.
We see Karma headed to the back to take down Helmosaur.
Yep. I'm guessing that it's still ambiguous to Karma which ones are crystals and pendants, because I think that we found out that Pod was a pendant based on TruzzL's kill, not based on any map checks. I don't think the map to Pod showed up at all, so it makes sense because it's a dungeon you can complete and it might be a crystal. Probably still, you know, wondering whether Pod or Desert is the crystal. In which case doing this makes a ton of sense, because Karma's eyes, you know, if Desert is a pendant, might never need to find that big key. Now, meanwhile, TruzzL is gonna say,
okay,
let's just hover it. Nice job, dude.
Dirty cheater.
TruzzL's hovers have been really nice. That one in Hookshot Cave was done quite quickly. It did fall once, but I mean, can't blame him for that. It's a very hard trick.
Apparently Andy's been giving lessons.
TruzzL on to Aga 2 now. I think that may have counted as a double first phase. Doesn't get any on number 2. Oh, this looks like a nice lineup on phase 3. Probably another double if the iframes didn't rob him. It looks like 2-0-2-2. pretty good Ega too.
Yep. And to clarify, the hovering is completely within the rules. It's just not very many people can do that.
Yeah, it's quite difficult. You have to release and then repress your dash 1 frame later. If it's any more than 1 frame with the dash unpressed, then you will fall.
And minute 55, I mean, an hour 55, TruzzL drops into the pig's lair.
Looking like good pace for that sub 2 right now, which is always nice to see in Keysanity. Sometimes, you know, there's nothing you can do about it. The seed is just mean to you, and you run up into the 220 mark. But this one, not so bad. TruzzL played it really well, and we'll be finishing up shortly.
He got the 1 cycle phase 1.
Yeah, that was nice. Using the Cane of Burna here to, unfortunately, lag the game, but make sure that he gets the 2 cycles on phase 2 here. Ganon will be pushed into the next one for sure now. Since he has half magic, I was gonna say might as well leave the Cane on so that the fire bats don't kill you, but he had enough to lag and say, whatever. It's unlikely that he'll get hit at this point. Again, it's not very threatening these last couple of phases.
And going into the final phase. And yes, we did find the silver arrows in desert.
What, these silvers that I'm hitting you with right now? yes, indeed.
And ladies and gentlemen, we have bacon.
So that'll do it for TruzzL. Steps through the threshold, manages to finish up.
TruzzL with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 56 minutes, and 55 seconds. Meow, 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 meow.
I always like the new messages that they add in at the end of the game. It's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to the next standard tournament where they, I'm sure there's going to be some new Uncle text or something like that around for that.
My understanding is the new tournament, the standard mode that's coming up before long, is actually going to have a little bit of a different opening.
Yeah, I heard that the Uncle was only guaranteed to give you a weapon rather than a sword. I'm curious as to how that will work, but we'll have to wait and see.
For now, looks like it's time to bring TruzzL in here.
Hey there, TruzzL. Good job, GG. Congrats on taking your win down.
Thanks.
That seed was fairly nice to you by the end of it. Start maybe not quite as much, but man, you got to go mode a lot of dungeons for Keysanity, hey?
Yeah, my start was super ugly. And then I think somewhere around like the second dungeon it seemed to turn around a bit. I think actually probably when I went into Ice Palace and found Ice Rod, I think that was where I was feeling pretty good about it.
Yeah, that was really nice for you. I think in the overall state of the race, that's where you really started to pull away. At that point, Karma had fake flippered a little bit earlier and got Sakina Samaria from the hobo earlier on. So
Yeah.
he was able to do a bit of Turtle Rock on the first visit up to Death Mountain, and unfortunately died before getting to the flute, and then, you know, opted to do some other stuff. So when you went up there with the Ice Rod with 4 Turtle Rock keys, it was just really efficient, only having to dip that once.
Yeah, that, and I was shocked when I found the bow and pod. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, that was quite something. Bow in the pod big chest. What is up with that?
Yeah.
Right location, wrong world.
You had a few nice hovers that seed too. That was pretty cool. That hookshot cave hover to get you a pod key and, you know, hover Molderm too. Why not, right?
Yeah, I couldn't. I was like freaking out when I saw that the hover actually paid off with the bow and I could just do pod all at once. Like, I was expecting it to just be like a bunch of arrows and some bombs or something.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was really nice. Overall, your route worked out quite well. You didn't have to double dip very much at all. It was really nice and efficient dungeon clears. Just a couple of those inkling doubts in the back of your mind when you get the ice big key long after you finished ice, or the Skullwoods big key showing up, but you know,
Yeah.
that's Keysanity for you. You can't help it.
It was that, and then like the moment I finished pod, I'm like, I hope there wasn't anything in like the front chest or that one in the back.
Yeah, that going on that walk back to pod is never a fun time.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, I was kind of hoping to see the Skull Woods mirror into the pedestal play.
I was really close to going back into Skull Woods. I ended up just going to check Graveyard Ledge instead, but
Yeah, you always had a lot of options for your decisions later on. It's like, I think you finished Ice Palace, and after that, you had the Green Pendant to turn in, but you always had more efficient things to do the entire time, so that was really nice.
yeah.
Yeah, you always somehow found the right play, even when the world was wide open to you.
I think after a while I just kept figuring like, okay, I can go clear this dungeon, so I'll go do it.
Oh, I also wanted to say I really liked your Mire route.
Yeah.
How you went like towards the basement and then hookshotted over and did the right side then. That was cool.
Yeah, I think I saw that one mentioned on the Discord in the training room. I think there was a clip of someone who did this, or who did that, and you just do the left side as long as you have a key going in, and then you can hookshot across there, and you can do like that whole right side in one go.
Yeah, that was really nice. I mean, I've seen it done before where you leave that hookshot chest for last and then you just get it and fall and then go to the basement, but it always feels a little awkward walking back across that middle room. That's a really nice way to address it, so thanks for showing me that. That was cool.
So, you won this race. You're not in the playoffs, but you still come out with a 3-2 record. How do you feel overall about this tournament?
So this was the first like tournament I'd done before, so it was a lot of fun in that regard. I think early on I had a really tough matchup that kind of, I don't know, I couldn't lose anything after that, and I had a race where I think I needed to find Ice Rod, and it was just not where I expected it to be, and I lost a lot of time. But overall, I'm pretty happy with, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, you came out with a winning record. That's definitely good. There's a lot of, you know, really good players in this tournament. Just depending on how your Swiss matches go, it's easy to just, you know, lose one. That's how a rando is. You can just miss something and have trouble with anybody. But yeah, 3-2 is definitely good overall. There's a lot of very strong players in this field, so gotta be happy with that.
When I started, I was saying like, if I get like a positive record, that'd be really nice. So I at least got that.
I know a lot of people went into it just hoping for a 1-4.
Yeah.
But you mentioned this is your first tournament, right?
Yeah.
Really good.
Well, yeah, I was playing a fair bit of this over the holidays, so once you get started, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think the daily Keysanity races leading into this were pretty fun to participate in. I don't know how many of those you did, but that was something to get people going on Keysanity. So I do want to ask about Keysanity. How do you feel about that relative to the normal open mode or standard of rando?
So I would say the thing with Keysanity is it rewards being thorough and just optimizing your route, as opposed to like with. I usually have problems with open seeds because I'm not great at like choosing what gambles to make. So I think as long as you're doing things well and being thorough in Keysanity, you can usually get a pretty decent time.
Yeah,
Whereas,
I hear you
like,
there.
you can like screw yourself over pretty hard in open if you like miss some chest and go exploring all the types of other stuff before you get back to it.
Yeah, and of course there's the fact that in Keysanity it's far more likely that you're going to have to dip every dungeon at some point, whereas in open you might lose a lot of time, say doing Pendant Ice Palace and getting absolutely nothing.
Yep.
And you got 157 collection rate. That's pretty good for Keysanity.
Yeah, I think a lot of that was I didn't have to do anything in Ganon's Tower. I think that always seems to really bump up that collection rate.
Ganon's Tower's 27 locations.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm used to seeing around like a 170 if it was one of those nastier Keysanities that makes you maybe not do Ganon's Tower, but 100% the overworld. But
Yeah.
this wasn't, like, you didn't have to finish Skull. I think there was probably a couple of world spots you got to skip out on because you had dungeons to do for so long.
So, if I'm not mistaken, later on this month, or maybe the start of next month, but I'm thinking later on this month, is the standard. Yeah, the standard tournament. You thinking about entering in that one?
Oh, definitely. I actually didn't know that was coming up, but yeah, I'll be trying to get into that. Is it, are they doing the Swiss style again, or is it going to be where you, like, compete and get placed and stuff? Like, to get entered into it?
If I had to guess, it would probably be, qualifier races for the main tournament and then a secondary ran at the same time, similar to the last open tournament, but I don't actually know, so don't take my word for it.
Okay.
Yeah, the fall tournament was qualifiers. There were 5 qualifier races. The top 100 made it into the main tournament, and then everyone else, it was open entry into the secondary tournament.
It really just amazes me how many very good random players there are out there because, the secondary tournament, you get all kinds, like people who are playing rando for the first time might take, 3, 4, 5 hours for their first seed just playing for fun, and that's great to see too. And then you'll get some players that just barely missed out on qualifying for the main tournament and are just excellent rando players in their own right. So you get great competition in both of them.
Yeah, I think the open one started, like, I think I started playing this, like, right after that began.
Yeah, standard will be slightly different, but if you know open, should go decently well.
Yeah, it's nice having just something to attack with.
Yeah, it's that guaranteed sword is pretty nice.
Well, I've been working on V29, so there may be a change before that tournament. We'll have to see.
Yeah, I'm actually really curious how that is going to work. I haven't followed too closely, but the only thing I heard is that the uncle will just give you a weapon that's not necessarily the sword. So I'm kind of wondering, is like, can he give you the bow? Like, how many arrows are you going to be given to do the escape with? Or Does he give you the fire rod and you have to pick up the pots in the secret passage for a bit to be able to kill the guards?
My understanding is it's supposed to give you magic, but it didn't work as intended.
Nice. Well, at least there's guaranteed magic there. I mean, if everybody in the sea has to go in and out of the secret passage twice to pick up more pots, then that's not so bad, right?
Just gives you bombs and sends you on your way.
Oh no. I want to see the goofy Kina Samaria races where everybody's just standing there with their bombs.
Yeah, just pushing them into the guards slowly.
Oh, and we're about to get a ped pool.
Alright, Karma knows what the people want. We're getting the blind pedestal pool. It's gonna be a compass. Where's it gonna be to? Meyer. We got it.
Well, he said in IRC one more thing must be done first, and he's in go mode, so that was a for the people ped.
Thanks, Karma, for giving us that. When you have all the pendants, why the heck not? So all Karma has left to do is just walk up Death Mountain one more time, run straight up GT, and he'll manage to finish off his last race in the tournament here.
You're forgetting one other thing.
Oh gosh, he's got to do Turtle Rock. Oh no, I completely forgot about that. You're right. Well,
at least it's a Tempered Sword Trinex.
That's true. The Dead Rock trying to get the last word in there, but Karma gets past.
These guys are the worst.
They really are. Oh no! Oh, he got the throw off just barely on that rock. I thought that Dead Rock was gonna come over and interrupt it. I was gonna have some unpleasant things to say about that Dead Rock, but just barely. We're okay.
Oh, at that point, you know, he's already seen the dot done. I wouldn't be surprised to just see a quake on him just for spite. So this was a trip dip T-Rock, right?
Yeah, it ended up being triple for Karma. So that's a lot of mountain climbing, but I hear that's pretty good exercise, so there's that to take away from it. Getting to deal with these pokies with the fire rod, so much nicer than the darn Master Sword.
Yeah, that second pokey though, somehow getting lit on fire by a shot, and then yeah, I'm going to get you back for that one.
Yeah, they do that. He's using the hook shot a little bit here to dodge these last couple fire bars. Be able to rip Trinex apart fairly quickly, and then a quick jot over to Ganon's tower.
Yeah, with that Tempered Sword, he won't have to do a lot of menuing to kill Trinex.
At least when you're down a sword, Trinex isn't as much of a menu boss as Argus, but still. How many times you have to switch to the hammer? This can get annoying.
Argus only tends to be a really bad menu boss if you're on a fighter sword.
Yeah, if you have Master at least, believe it's just faster to slash rather than go through the pause. I know when you're fighting Argus with fighters as well, you can just charge a spin, throw the hook shot, and release the spin, and that works. I think it's... I'm not sure which is slower. I think it's a bit worse than, you know, menuing to the hammer quickly every time, but it's definitely less of a hassle. Karma giving Trinex the business right now. Both heads slashed to death in short order. Now get a few hits in on the main body. If this is fast, it'll die before it even manages to do a circle around the room, have its interior start slashing, but getting hit by the head trying to get the spin off, so we'll have to fight it for a little bit in the middle, but doing nice little circles to bait Trinex into these slashes, and go down shortly. There it goes.
Yeah, Ice Rod's not exactly the best weapon. It's really slow.
Yeah, and depending on how Trinex moves, you know, can easily have the head just dodge out of the way, and there's not much you can do. If you get them quickly, then they're not moving too much. It's not too bad, but sometimes Trinex is a little finicky and doesn't cooperate too well. But that's it for Turtle Rock, so now Karma heading over to GT to watch the crystals cutscene and then head on up the tower. Walking off to the left there, perhaps by reflex from scenes where you're not already in go mode when you're in Gan's Tower. It will be interesting once again going back to, you know, non-Keysanity in the next tournament and seeing those GT plays, that left-right thing, actually come into play a lot more, since most of the time in Keysanity we're just running straight up. We use the middle play. Good mimic manipulation for Karma there. Takes those down with the silvers quite quickly, and we'll be getting onto the gauntlet shortly.
Getting a little stuck on his way back, though.
Yeah, that Igor hit just before the dash went off wasn't too pleasant, and then the spikes were a little bit in the way. I've always just done that room by, you know, dashing around and hoping, but I think if you, you know, the people that really know what they're doing actually know what the spikes will be like depending on their movement, and that's always super impressive to me when somebody can just, you know, get the dash down through those bouncing spikes without stopping, intentionally of course. You get it sometimes just completely randomly, but I have to say, personally I find it quite rare.
Yeah, there's some way to go down the left side and not get hit by them. I think I accidentally did it like once.
Yeah, I always go for it, but you know, whether I get it is not based on any kind of skill.
Yeah.
Hey, as long as you got the hearts for it, why not?
Yeah, that's true. And the seed, I mean, was pretty nice on the hearts and the males, so no problem there. Karma having really nice rooms of the gauntlet hasn't even been hit yet, and hasn't really needed to slow down. As I say, that gets beat up a little bit in this last room, but takes the enemies down and will be on to land mode 2 right away.
There is such a thing called Commentator's Curse.
I'm pretty guilty of doing that from time to time. Gets one of the landmos down, and then knocked away rudely by the fireball spitter, and has to take a couple more cycles at it.
At least you all had a really healthy seed by the end of it.
Yeah. Powder never showed up, though. No, normally you
That's-
don't mind a little bit less health and whatnot, as long as you have that. You can just restore your health whenever, but it was MIA.
Yeah, for the tournament, I was having a lot of luck with powder, so I sort of slowed down a little bit on the way up when I realized I didn't have it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, especially in GT, because you get used to just saying, okay, well, let's just skip all the safeties or whatever. I'll just powder the bunny beam if I need it, and then powder the stuff at the top of GT. But no such option in this seed. You played pretty well through GT though, and in general, you didn't take too much damage anywhere, so you didn't need it. And Karma, of course. Oh well, wow. I'm really sorry for that one. I'll take the blame. I was gonna say, doing well through this GT, but that instantly turned into a pit. Still, plenty of health though, so shouldn't be feeling too troubled. And as I see on the menu there, still has that blue potion from earlier.
Yeah, I saw a race earlier today where we were at 6 hearts on red mail with no powder an hour in, and ended up on 10 hearts by the end of the race, and still no powder.
Goodness. Those seeds are always a nightmare, I think, to deal with. Especially stuck on green mail, and oh man, things hit so hard. Karma up at the top of the gauntlet now. All that's left is Moldorm 2, Ega 2, and Ganon.
Well, we found the Sank heart.
Well, so much for needing powder. You just get the Sank heart in that room instead. That's great. Karma's not going to mess around with getting knocked off by Moldorm. Opts to just use the cape here. Not a bad play. Plenty of magic with half magic. Got Silvers for Ganon, and even if you wanted to do something like cape through one of the phases of Ganon, you have a blue potion still, so no issues lighting the torch. Wait, was the validation check just a small heat of... Oh, right, because Pod was a pendant. I was like, how is that possible that Pod was a pendant? Okay, everything's fine.
Well, the logic really didn't expect you to kill the Helmsword King.
I guess not. The rando was calling for Helmasaur to live this time, but our runners weren't so merciful.
So far, it's 1-1-1. There's the double.
Yep, Egg is nearly down. Oh no, gets knocked away just there from the last hit. And once again, Ega being a bit of a jerk. I think Karma trying to guarantee the hit, by delaying the spin until the second clone shot, but getting hit instead. And then the one time the spin was released early, Ega shot a blue ball, and there we go. Got that hit in out. We'll be farming the bonk count up a little bit and then heading on to kill Ganon.
Yeah, it looked like one of the clones got off sync there.
Yeah, there's that one cycle where it shot so late that the main Aghanim was already teleporting away. What can you do with this shot? It's useless.
And it's deja vu all over again.
I do feel like we just keep ending up here. Karma slashing away at Ganon, pushed on to phase 2 now. Just gotta hit 12 tempered slashes on this form of Ganon and move into the phase 3. Getting a lot of hits in at the start. Nice hookshot dodges on the expanding and contracting fire bat ring. Well, it wasn't able to one cycle, but will be Yeah, counting the hits looks like just gives one extra slash in, and that will be into phase 3. Or not quite. Maybe counted a little too early, but next time we'll be in phase 3.
Those fire bats are not doing him any favors.
Yep. Opting immediately once in one-shot range to drink that blue potion. You don't want to do the entire Ganon fight again, so it's just not risk getting hit, and now dealing with Ganon's teleports, which were pretty light this time, I do believe. Letting himself get hit in consecutive 3 teleports at the start. I don't remember if the 4th one let the hit land right away, but no. He's going to run a little bit before this last hit goes off.
This looks like a double.
Yeah, that looks like a nice setup for the double, and maybe even able to, get torch glitched after the silvers. One more shot will do it, and there goes Ganon.
And one torch cycle.
Yeah, really nice. It always looks so cool too when you start with silvers to get that hit in on the initial torchlight, and then you still are fast enough to walk over and get the torch glitch. Nice and clean.
And Karma finishes with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 25 minutes, and 48 seconds.
I do believe that's Karma hopping in there to chat, so GG. Good job wrapping that one up. Or we may be joined by Karma soon, but Discord sometimes doesn't agree. Yep. So Karma just hopping out for a moment, so we'll try to talk to Karma soon, but in the meantime we just get to watch the credits, see that it is Sassafras this time who came back to the village. And I'll ask, hey Karma, is Discord alive this time? Looks like perhaps not. Well, we might be able to sort out these issues. Perhaps. We'd love to chat, but sometimes the internet doesn't agree with you. Need to just watch through the nice credit sequence here on Karma's side in the meantime. Upgrade boy explodes more again. That was a bombs buried there? Or no, bomb upgrade rather, of course.
Yeah, I think it was the 10 bomb upgrade. Now, we're not quite done with Randomizer tonight. There's a race that started an hour ago over on Speed Gaming. That's Mariah-chan versus Epic Yoshi 64 and Chauncey J versus Strumpet Playa. And that's been going on for about an hour, and that is the last race of tonight.
Yeah, and we're definitely getting to the end of the Keysanity. Being this the last Swiss round, there's not too many matches left, so if you want to get your Keysanity fix in, I definitely recommend heading over and checking that one out after we wrap up here.
But first, do we have a Karma?
I don't think so. Discord is not agreeing today.
Karma saying he's guessing TruzzL followed the logic, and that's how he got done so fast.
Yeah, and he's not wrong in that analysis. I think he realizes that Keen of Samaria that was out of sequence that led him to nothing useful in Turtle Rock did a number on his time, and that's pretty accurate, I think, assessment of how those seeds started out.
Yeah, the one sequence broke that would have helped is if he would have made it through the dark room in Eastern and gotten that swamp small key.
Yeah, that one was certainly useful. I think we discussed it a little bit during the race as well, or as it came to a close. But if he had managed to find the flute in Turtle Rock, that might have been useful. But then again, it still would have been a Turtle Rock double dip that might have been painful too.
And one more time, do we have a Karma in Discord?
Man, Discord is just not super agreeable. So, there it is! Yes, it works! We're alive. Hey Karma, how's it going?
Yeah, like I said, I'm guessing TruzzL just picked perfect path.
Yeah, you're not wrong about that. You got led astray by a couple things, like having that early Kina Samaria and ending up having to do Turtle Rock a couple times because of that, whereas TruzzL did not do the fake flippers, so didn't have that kind of misleading option open to him.
That's why I left when I died, though. I knew it was a sequence break, so I was like, I'll dip in and see if there's anything good. But if I'd only made it to the laser bridge.
Yeah, that flute would have been nice at least. I'm not sure how it would have played out from there, but it would have been interesting for sure. And then I think another point that stuck out was that the swamp small key, the Eastern vanilla big key chest that you didn't get to earlier on because of low health in the dark room is gonna always get you. And TruzzL did get that going to Eastern a little bit later, and then was able to do swamp a bit earlier.
Funny enough, in the back of my mind, I said, well, that's just not going to matter. Unless it's something like the Swamp Small Key.
Yeah, we actually thought here that it wouldn't come into play really, even once I saw it, because it was like, well, you'll probably get pulled back to Eastern eventually, because it's not super likely that will lead to the bow or the Eastern Big Key, and I don't think it did, but still, it was nice having that earlier access to Swamp, since GT Big Key and Desert Big Key were available in there.
Yeah, my routing ended up horrendous on that run.
That's how it goes with Keysanity sometimes, that's for sure. But I do want to say GG nonetheless. You managed to make your way through at least 5 Keysanity seeds during this tournament, plus however many others you decided to run. And getting through Keysanity seeds is always quite a trial.
GG's to TruzzL. My 2-3 is still better than I thought I would do at the beginning, so I'm happy.
Definitely not bad at all. So I do want to ask you, Karma, after having reached the conclusion of the Swiss part of this Keysanity tournament, how do you feel about Keysanity in general compared to, the more standard, normal open modes or standard?
See, for me, this is still my favorite mode. I pretty much haven't raced an open since I started Keysanity.
Yeah. You just like how, it's more about efficient clearing rather than choosing which chest to skip for speed, that kind of thing, because you often have to just full clear as much as you can in this.
I guess I like how it's a little more luck oriented than open. For less what's the word I'm looking for? People who don't do NMG and who don't know all the quick strats It kind of balances it out a little better.
Yeah, that's true. It's more, about the item searching rather than just go moding or, doing dungeons quickly with not many pickups. That's a very good point. So I also wanted to ask as well, with the standard tournament spring coming up, are you going to be joining that one as well?
I hadn't even looked at it yet. I know about the 2v2. Possibly. We'll have to see. It really just depends on my schedule.
All right, cool. Well, I do hope to see more matches from you, and I always like listening to your commentary as well. So.
Thank you. At the very least, I'll probably be doing commentary. I know I put in for the 2v2 tournament commentary, and I think I even put it for Seed Generation, so we'll see what happens.
Awesome. Well, we'll be looking forward to that.
Yeah, I saw the exhibition of that, and that 2v2 is going to be something.
It really is neat seeing how, the routes differ, like the handoff of different locations. Getting through with, a lot less safeties since you're picking up less of the extraneous pieces of heart and whatnot after your partner lets you know that you don't need to do this, you don't need to do that. Well, I'll ask, I guess, TruzzL first, then Karma. Any final thoughts that you want to get out to our viewers here before we wrap up things?
Not in particular. I just say if you're interested in playing this stuff, get on the Discord and give it a shot. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's for sure. I can echo that sentiment. Any final thoughts, Karma?
Well, since TruzzL stole what I was going to say, that just goes to say how good of a community we have. Everybody recommends this community. I mean, we've got hundreds of players, and we've got runs daily. I mean, there's always something going on almost every moment of every day. So if you like Link to the Past, you want a little nostalgia, you want to try something new, come have some fun.
All right, yeah, that's definitely a good thing to do. So, I think that will about do it for us here. But of course, there is more Keysanity going on Speed Gaming 1 right now, I believe. So head over, check that out. I've been Sigma. Thanks everybody for watching, and thank you for commentating with me, Dark Shadows. It's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure commentating with you too.
Have a good night, guys.
For more rando, head on over to Speed Gaming, and tomorrow we've got more of the Keysanity tournament starting at 10 a.m. I'm not sure which channel, and at noon we have a race over on Speed Gaming 3. That'll be us for tonight. Good night, everyone.